Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night, where tonight, once again, Top Split TV brings you Sunday Night Lights, Season 32, Round 3. Oh, Alex hasn't updated the thing. We are actually at Silverstone. Hang on, quick fingers, Silverstone. And I'll try that one once again. Race info. Silverstone, see, like never happened. Beautiful. I'm your host, Alex Wickella. Joining me as always is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. For round 3 at Silverstone, Corey. Big night of racing ahead. Big circuit, not like the national layout. We've got the full layout this time. Plenty of action ahead of us.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Round 4 at Silverstone. But
Oh, no.
an exciting race ahead of us this week. We've got 15 of the best that we could assemble, and we have the return of the bridesmaid himself, who threw off the bridesmaid dress and decided this time to put on the Formula Ford, which is going to be pretty exciting, considering the track that we're at here tonight.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's run through our field. Car number 1, Mr. Adam Miles, the king of the skippies. Of course, community rep for both categories at the moment. Joins us in the Formula Ford for the first time. Great to see Adam out there. And hopefully, oh my goodness. Oh no, sorry, Adam. We could not your finest moment. Car number 1, Adam Miles, looking to get it back out amongst it here on a Sunday night. Sam Devanti is car number 2. The Speedy Snails driver, the cowboy. He's out there having another crack, wanting to have a good run at the season title, of course. Tim Hendrickson, the Flying Dutchman for Team Torpedo, is car number 3. Our top 3 drivers into the 8KI rating, so expect some good action up front. Neil Gardner, Captain 499, makes only his second appearance in the Formula Fords from memory. And the Respectful Hornets Inc. racing driver is car number 4 out there. Fraser Smith joins us once again from UK&I, looking to don the sporty fighter pilot type livery there, looking to get in amongst it. Of course, Henry Moore on the back of his first win, or his second win I should say, last week from UK&I. Once again, he's car number 6. Then we go to the head clown himself, Mr. Vasco Sorowski, is here for Team Clowns. Of course, Hideki Ogihara is car number 8, just behind Sorowski. The lone Japanese driver once again for Team NRS, Donald Sabanal, first of 2 Team Milo drivers here tonight, is car number 9. Welcome back to Donald. Luke Whitten, his teammate for Team Milo, is car number 10, Corey.
That's right, Alex. And we're just having a look through. We're going to have 10 Oz and Z drivers in this race, which is amazing. So everyone that I'm going to be reading out here is going to be representing the Oz and Z club, starting with car number 11, Glenn Corrigan for Jim's Mowing. It's great to see Glenn out there having a squirt. We've got Nick Armstrong out there, the Yellow Pages car, and he's just hoping for a good result, and hopefully we can get him one here tonight. Gregory Adams, who is not out on track for Team Clowns Racing. Lucky car number 13. We've always got to squeeze a clown car in or around car 13, which is just tradition. We've got Nathan Verney coming back out of the midst of nowhere as car number 14 for Locked On iRacing. And wrapping up the field, Ken Hames, who I do not see out on track at the moment, Alex, as car number 15.
Yeah, Ken doesn't look to be setting a time, neither does Greg Adams. That leaves our folks at the top of the table to set the pace. Adam Miles now restarts his run. Looks like he's on, I think, the first of his flying laps, depending on how things shake out after that misadventure that he had. We've got Devanti, the Cowboys, probably one of the furthest along. Actually, furthest along is actually Fraser Smith. He's closest to finishing, I think. No, it's actually Ogihara-san, getting close to 3/4 of the way through his first lap. Long lap around here. As a result, we only see 9 laps in the 20-minute race. These cars, of course, famous for being at Silverstone, the traditional home of these cars. Of course, we're used to running the shorter national layout, but tonight we run the full layout, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And I'm just watching Sabanel right now as he is just coming into the club section to finish off his first lap. So he'll be the first one to put a time up on the board. And let's see what time he gets here as he just clips the sausage curb. That's going to lose him a couple of tenths. And it's only a 16.304, which immediately puts him into second as Fraser Smith and Henry Moore jump up into first and second. Devancia jumping up into third. And the time's already in the 15.5-second bracket, Alex.
Oh, Hendrickson, Fraser Smith, 1/1000th separate. Say that 5 times quickly. 1/1000th separate the top two, Hendrickson and Smith. What a tussle this is turning out to be. We haven't even done 2 flying laps, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex, and that's still a bigger margin than what the warm-up race was set by, as it was a big battle between Moore and Devancia coming to the checkered flag, and they were separated by literally nothing. We would have had to have gone to the 10,000th of a second to separate them between first and second place.
Wow, it was pretty tight. Hendrickson having equipment failure. Saw him out of what was a 3-way tussle throughout as Miles now comes around to set his first flying lap after some misadventure on what I assume was an out lap. Crosses the line now. And what's he done? Good enough for P6 with a 16.4, yet a full second-ish off the pace, unfortunately. 9/10ths. But he'll still be in the mix. Very good on the racecraft is Mr. Miles. So I expect him to win. Although, I don't know, Corey, he's probably a bit short of a run in the Formula Ford. So yet to be tested is our former SNL winner.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. I think he started this season focusing a lot more on the Skippy. So it was actually a bit of a surprise to us to see him having a crack in the Formula Fords here, as we've got a few of the cars starting to head around Stone now. Sabanel is going to be the first one to hit the club section, and he's got a 16.304. Let's see if he can improve from 5th. And, that time he didn't hit the sausage. It's looking good. And it looks like it's no improvement for Sabanel.
Oh, and Moore's jumped up even further. He's 2.5 tenths. What's Hendrickson got? He's coming around the final section now. Crosses the line. What's he got for us? The Flying Dutchman jumps up to pole position. A full 10th ahead of his rival, Henry Moore. With a 2:15.15 to a 2:15.25. The boys are well and truly amongst it. Nick Armstrong yet to set his second lap. Adam Miles now in the closing stages of his second lap. How long we got? About 20 seconds. I don't know.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I don't know if either of them are going to get another one in. For Nick Armstrong, that'll be a bit of a wake-up call. Figured or featured fairly heavily in the warm-up race before Sorosky's another one with equipment failure led to an unfortunate and untimely exit. As that, speaking of untimely exits, that'll about do us for quality. Let's run through the grid for round 4 at Silverstone. So I don't know what you're talking about, Corey. It's round 4, Silverstone. Anyway, Tim Hendrickson sticks it on pole. Team Torpedo's own Flying Dutchman with a 2:15.1, just a 10th behind. Joining him on the front row will be Henry Moore from UK&I. Fraser Smith, Moore's compatriot, starts out a third tonight, and joining him on the second row, Speedy Snails driver Sam Devantia, the cowboy, staring down the barrel of another podium as he tries to claim his maiden SNL title. Third row of the grid is a combination of Donald Sabanel from Team Milo, and 6th off the grid will be Adam Miles making his SNL debut in the Formula Fords. 7th and staring down the barrel of his teammate for Team Milo will be Luke Witten. Rains out starting out at P7. P8 tonight, the lone Japanese driver for Team NRS, Hideki Ogihara. Captain 499 Neil Gardner starts out at P9 tonight. Alongside him is ANZ compatriot Nick Armstrong out of 10th. Nathan Verney for Locked On Banter Alliance Racing starts out of 11th, just ahead of and alongside of Vasco Sorosky for Team Clowns. Going over the page, 13th tonight, after blowing both laps, will be Glenn Corrigan for Jim's Mowing Racing. Greg Adams, the other clown in the field, didn't get out there for a lap. He starts out at 14th, as does the final ANZ driver and stalwart of Sunday Night Lights, Mr. Ken Himes, as the drivers take the field for another massive Sunday night of racing, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex. I'm excited to see how these cars are going to act and react across the lap of the Formula One circuit as the revs start to rise. Red lights mean rev, and green lights mean goes. We're underway for season 32, round 4 here from the Silverstone GP circuit. As this time Fred the flag marshal didn't look like he was vigorously waving his flag over the field, but we'll say that he did anyway. As we go 2 and 3 wide into the first corner, there's a couple of side-by-side actions going on just behind the two Milo drivers with Ogihara and Gardner, as Gardner has actually fallen quite deep in the field off the start, Alex.
Yeah, and they're side-by-side, a bit deeper in the pack too, as Armstrong and Swarovski reacquaint themselves after the warm-up race, still side-by-side. Similarly behind them, Gardner, as you mentioned, alongside with Vernie now, already losing a couple of spots to Armstrong and Swarovski, who's up 2 already at the expense of Gardner and Vernie as they continue to go side by side. Meanwhile, the two Team Milo drivers are locked in their own battle. Oh, there's smoke in the background. Swarovski and Armstrong are side by side still. Wow, it's all happening in the midsections of this field. Meanwhile, up front, Swarovski and Armstrong are still side by side. I think that's probably half the first lap, Corey.
It actually is, Alex, and I reckon they're trying to go after the record for the longest time side by side, but it looks like Armstrong has taken the advantage this time as we go into
Swarovski's
and around goes
gone.
Swarovski.
Oh,
Pushed too hard on the cold tires.
Oh, it's a tragedy. The head clown will be spewing about that. He would have been grinding his teeth side by side at how much time he would have been losing in the battle, only to find himself on the outside of turn 1 and not in the right way, as our front group of Hendrickson, Moore, Smith, Devantia almost breaking the back of Miles, who's half a second behind as they head down the hanger straight for the second, first of 9 times still. Wow, it's a long lap here, Corey.
Indeed it is, Alex, as it looked like Henry Moore was going to try and go for the move up on the inside of Stowe. Just didn't quite have the legs on it, as in the background I saw one of the Milo cars off into the weeds. I'm pretty sure that was Luke Whitten, but a lot of battling going on here, and it's still only the first lap as they come out of club corner for the first time to finally end off the first lap.
Yeah, I saw him go through the old turn 1, and I thought they'd already finished the first lap. This track gets me every time. I've got to say, I do prefer the old layout. As 2 and 3 wide. Oh, Armstrong. Ogihara's gone this time. Oh, and Armstrong's followed him in sympathy. It's almost like Torval and Dean, the ice dancers. Oh, don't tell me he's bogged it. Ogihara's either had suspension damage or he's bogged it. Let's go see what happened there. Can I get the actual spot so I can see, please? Oh, Armstrong went on his own. Let me just find Ogihara. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Hang on. Let's see. See if we can't get it. There we go. As they come in side by side. Oh, the slide job almost there from Armstrong. Ogihara's gone and Armstrong's followed him. I think that's where Ogihara's picked up suspension damage, unfortunately. Let's go back to live pictures then. Ogihara in the pits. As the action continues up front, we have a breakaway of 5, Corey.
That's right, Alex, and they've already built up a gap of over 2 seconds back to Luke Whitten in P6, who was having a bit of a lonely race there. He pulled away from Savinel, and he's just kind of in his own little space. There's also a pack of 4 behind Whitten, being led by Savinel, with Vernie, Corrigan, and Gardner in it. Yeah,
that's a feisty ANZ battle, as you say. A lot of ANZ drivers here. You know, this one thing the Fords have done, they've quietened the international attention by the looks, and Vernie runs very wide. That'll cost him a couple of positions. Corrigan and Gardner both go through on the locked-on racer there, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. As I've gone back up to the front of the pack, and Henry Moore has been pulling out of the draft along the hanger straight, more so in defence of Fraser Smith than in attack of Hendrickson, just not really wanting to get a fight going here in the early laps. Although with such a limited amount of laps, we could see these guys start to pick up the battling here very shortly, as time is very limited as to when they can and cannot make moves.
Absolutely, as they cross line now after 2 of 9 laps. Got to say, just in the background, Adam Miles there through turn 1 just looked a little bit short of a run, not quite as tight, and just looked a little bit off point to what we're used to seeing him in the skips. Like I said, great to see him here though. I'm hoping it's a sign of more to come, and that I guarantee you, once he's got the runs under his belt, he'll be right up there. Having said that, it's not like he's out of it. He's sitting here on the back of the front pack, having spent most of the past season and a half in the skips only exclusively, and not had much of a run in these. So that gives you a sign potentially of what's to come with now this front pack led by Hendrickson, Moore, Smith. Those three likely to be the aggressors as far as the racing go. Devantier sitting there with Miles, 2 patient heads, cooler heads, one might say, in this pack, waiting patiently for their opportunities. In the background, we see a pair of Milo cars. That gap now bridged a little bit between Sabanal and Witten. So it's Witten really letting it hang all out in the breeze there through turn 1. Sabanal now, he is bridging that gap and starting to drop Corrigan and Gardner, who are left to fight out amongst themselves, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. As front pack just making their way through Beckett's now into Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. And look at that, Henry Moore immediately going to the right, but this time it is kind of in attack. He's pulled up side by side with Hendrickson here, and let's see what's going to happen as they go into Stowe. It looks like he's got him cleared before the corner, Alex. So Henry Moore with a great run coming out of Chapel and down the Hangar Straight, almost contact between Hendrickson and Fraser Smith then, Alex.
Smith looking to take advantage if he can. Hendrickson goes deep into the final chicane. Very, very awkward set of corners here, and anything with wheels on it. And then you get this more sweeping. The last corner kind of flows, but it also feels so awkward. I got to tell you, the last section and the first sector or so before you get out onto the first long straight there is through Aintree down to Brooklands is really, it really does feel quite awkward in most sorts of cars, but I must say I'm a fan of the older layout as you come through this really tightening hairpin there out onto the first big straight, the Wellington straight now between 5 and 6 as you get a flat run through Aintree, and then this long run down as a bit of Blinky Bill from Moore there. That'll be unsettling. Not as unsettling as the run as Hendrickson's had. He's had everything from straight iRacing crashes through to blue screens as a result. He's taken a bit of punishment in terms of his results and his I rating, hoping for everyone, especially for Tim, that we don't see a repeat of that here tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. It looks like for the moment, at least, everything has stabilized as far as Moore and Hendrickson are concerned. But Adam Miles, he's still doing a really good job just to hang on to the back of this pack as we head into the old turn 1 cops. Turn number 9 on this particular variant of the track, as now into Maggots and Beckett's. And these guys just really seem to be trying to take it easy at the moment. There's ever since Moore hit the front, the battling just calmed down quite a bit. You haven't really seen anyone step out on either the Hangar Straight or the Wellington Straight. But Hendrickson got a really good run out of Chapel this time. He's going to challenge for the lead once more, as Moore is now stuck on the outside. Smith, he's jarred down to the inside too. He's looking to make a move. I said that they got in calm and then they all made liars out of me. Let's see if Henry Moore can hold it around the outside of Smith here, as we've seen it be done in the warm-up race. Hendrickson very deep under brakes. Look at the gap that he formed just from braking that much later, and he's still able to make the corner. It's magical to watch, Alex.
Yeah, beautiful driving there. Couple of things. At some point we saw the teammates swap places, the Team Milo drivers in Sabanal and Witten, but also I've just spotted in the telemetry a moment here. This is Witten and Corrigan. Corrigan's come underneath there, just different lines there causing issues, unfortunately. That's very disappointing. But before that, Sabanal had made the move on Witten, and I'm just trying to spot that in There it is. Let's go see that overtake. The teammate on teammate. Down the straight here, down the hanger straight, well on the inside. And Witness just let him go in the end. Sabanal had bridged that gap, and I think Witten, respecting the pace of his teammates, just let him go, Corey. But that has all come to naught now as Witten and Corrigan have come a cropper.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. It's unfortunate for Witten because he is one of the generally the better drivers. As I can notice a little bit of battling here between Verney and Armstrong, as they have just come through Brooklands and Luffield. So they were battling all the way down to Wellington Straight trading positions. Now let's see what the locked-on racing driver can do. Can he beat up the yellow pages here? Tear him in half like a strong man. And you can see differing lines there into turn 9. Armstrong taking a little bit of a shallower entry, where Verney really tried to late apex it and maximize the speed he could carry through the corner, Alex.
Yeah, but it looks like Armstrong, who's got the pace and starting to build a gap already. Interestingly, Armstrong, when he had that moment with Ogihara, was up 2 positions, lost all those spots, and now he's back up to 8th, which is where he had the incident. So Armstrong certainly has the pace. Just needed to get a bit more luck. As we jump back up to the front, Miles now showing the nose on Devant here, forces them both offline, and it'll cost them a little on the exit. Is that what Miles had in mind as he's trying to set up perhaps into, it won't be into turn 1 here. It may be, see, that'll kill the run. Very challenging to get the pass done there. If anything, it probably hasn't cost them the front pack, but it's certainly potentially shown Miles' hand early as they rejoin the lead trio of Hendrickson, Moore and Smith, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. With the lack of downforce on these cars, it's very easy to disrupt the flow of the driver ahead of you, and it end up costing both of you in the long run, as our top 3 now are going to be battling down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. What can Moore do? He shows a nose, couldn't quite get the job done. Fraser Smith trying to build the momentum up and to get an outside run, but couldn't quite get there either. And this has just brought Devantia and Miles right back into this battle as we go through Woodcote for the 6th time in this race. The old front straight area where Michael Schumacher famously served a pit lane penalty on the last lap. And into the old turn 1. And this is where the action is going to start, Alex, as they come through Maggots and Beckett's.
Here we go. They're back at it. This time the nose shown by Moore. Smith, his compatriot, looking for any chance to get like the sheepdog or the cattle dog nipping at the heels of their charges. These two are absolutely hammer and tong. Meanwhile, Devantier still thinks waiting patiently for the big one to happen in front of him, which has been his way. You see he pulls out of the draft to side by side. Hendrickson and Moore go down the big hanger straight out the back, down into Stone. Now again, Smith looking to follow if he can through, and this time, but again, it leads him into the outside of 16, into this tight and awkward chicane through the last sector. But he's got drive. Has he got a run side by side? They got beautiful driving there, and this time he gets it done. Fantastic work there. Fantastic racing room given. Meanwhile, Henry Moore says, "You beauty, here's my chance." He's only half a second away, but there's only 2 laps to go, Corey. Probably plenty of time, really. 3 laps, I should say, as they're on the start of lap 7. What am I getting excited about? It's plenty of time to go as Moore put in the fastest lap that time around with a 14.8, if you don't mind, Corey.
That is incredibly quick for these cars around here, Alex. And, this is Moore's chance to try and build up a little bit of a gap, especially if Hendrickson tries to fight Smith to take the 2nd place back. But you just see that little bit of battling in the final corner between Smith and Hendrickson, and that gap just opened up that little bit for Moore. It looks like it's all for naught now, as the draft is allowing Smith to catch back up to him. But it could potentially later in the run a little bit, in maybe the last lap, provide to be his saviour if these guys behind him start to battle.
Could well be, mate. Could well be. But let's see as we come on to round out Oh no, we're on this. I keep getting this confused. I do love the old layout, I have to say. The national layout was a real breath of fresh air in these cars and surprised many last season. Having said that, these big tracks can really stretch your legs. Speaking of which, as Smith and Henderson go side by side once again, Moore really looking for a chance to run away if he possibly can. 2.5 laps to go. They're still side by side through Maggotts and Beckett's now. So they come through this classic opening section of Silverstone. Of course, everything's at Silverstone this week. So skips, the Fords, the Formula Ones, but of course the big ones here on the Sunday night, and Moore looking to run away with it. It's inside half a second. The big hanger straight will bring that back down, but no fighting here at this stage, although Devantier looks like he's taking a defensive line, just staying offline to keep Miles a little less interested as they go through Stowe once again, coming down to this final section, down through Vale into 16 and 17, this awkward series of corners. And then the double right, it's almost like a single double apex corner through there once you get it right. And they flow through the tail end of lap 7, begin lap 8 with 2 to go. Corey, you got your money down on anyone in particular?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go for the local hope of Henry Moore here, because the way that Smith and Hendrickson have been battling, it's definitely going to work to his advantage. Although Hendrickson has pulled away from Smith here, I believe Henry Moore is he's going to do what he can to take home the local victory for himself and maybe rub it in Fraser Smith's face a little bit. But only time will tell, Alex, as we come onto the Wellington Straight for the penultimate time now. And these guys are going to really start pushing here in these last couple of laps.
Yeah, that's it, man. Of course, there's 3 UK and I drivers in this front field. The local track bringing them out in force. There's the ANZ driver Devantier and the Flying Dutchman Hendrickson. Interestingly, with that little gap that's now closed, of course, between Hendrickson and Smith, I was wondering if Smith was starting to look in his mirrors a bit for the first time, because Devantier was right on his tail and putting all sorts of pressure as you expect the heat to get turned up. And speaking of the heat getting turned up, I thought for a moment they were going to go a couple wide through the old turn 1 as they let the cars sing out on the outside of the exit of that one thrilling corner. You can carry the speed well enough. Then through this, as I said, this classic Maggotts Beckett section. It's not quite as awkward as some of the newer sections, but it can be difficult to keep the flow and the run on the cars right, which you really want to do, of course, as you now come out to the all-important hanger straight where all the movers and shakers can get their dance on.
That's exactly right, Alex. And speaking of movers and shakers, Hendrickson going to make the move around the outside of Moore as they come into Stowe once more. And look at the lead that he's got. He's got him cleared around the outside of the track, Alex. You don't normally see that in little Formula 4s, but here comes Moore trying to fight straight back up on the inside as we head into club. Couldn't quite get there. Side by side was Devantier and Miles at the back of the pack, and Miles getting up on the inside of Devantier there, just clips the curb. Lucky no contact there between the two drivers at the back of this 5-car pack.
Yeah, full respect there shown. Plenty of room given and taken there. Allowed for the mistake, and that's a real trick for young players there. Knowing the course, knowing where that bump is and what the bump can do, allowing the space for the mistake to happen. That leaves those two drivers of Devantier and Miles still in this one, up to their eyeballs, as they're in the early stages of the final lap. A less experienced driver doesn't leave the room there. The inside guy bumps out and they're both gone. Corey, smart and heady racing from Devantier there. It's why he's one of the best going around.
Exactly right, Alex. As we go through Brooklands, of course, named for the original circuit in the UK, and into Luffield for the final time. This is where all the chips are going to have to be put on the table as they come through Woodcote now for the final time. The old final corner, and you can see Moore. He is hungry. He wants to make a move, and it looks like he wants to try and make it done sooner rather than later. But I reckon he's going to have to just hope for a really good run out of Church here so he can really get a good run on Hendrickson, Alex.
Yeah, interesting though, as you pointed out, Hendrickson got it done around the outside of the end of the hanger straight. That'll be playing on his mind, because on the mind of Henry Moore, I should say, because it gives Hendrickson the inside through the final, or the first part of the final chicane. But Hendrickson looks to have got a fairly good drive out of there. Although, having said that, Moore coming at him. Which way does Hendrickson defend? As side by side behind them goes Smith and Devantier. Oh, Hendrickson keeps him tied on the inside now. What's he got around the outside? Not this time. Moore goes through now. Hendrickson will be under all sorts of pressure from Smith. Devantier runs wide. There's potentially a slowdown there. Here comes Miles on the inside as well. 3 wide, 2 wide for the lead, 3 wide for the minor positions. Oh, Moore. Hendrickson comes underneath. Little argy-bargy side by side. Hendrickson's got the inside, the wheels, luck can touch, and Devantier's come through the V3 and Moore around the outside of the final quarter gets it done. Throw a handkerchief over the top 5, Corey. What a race.
Oh, that was incredible to watch, Alex. Henry Moore coming home with a win over Hendrickson and Devantier. Where did he come from coming home in third? Adam Miles also sneaking up past Fraser Smith to finish in fourth there. Incredible racing to end off the challenge here at Silverstone.
Amazing stuff. I want to go back. I wonder if I can get another spot on this. Is that? I'm just trying to get some good action of this final section. Nah, that was too early. Let's go see here. See if we can pick up through here some of the closing stages here. This is on the exit of the hangar straight. Look at him fan out as Smith escorts Devantier off to the side. I thought he might pick up a slowdown there, the cowboy. And then, he hangs on around the outside. Miles getting the run behind. It's almost coming from nowhere, Bradbury style. But look at Devantier hugging the white line, leaving Miles nowhere to go with his run. And then Miles forced to push to driver's right to almost make it 3 wide. And then Devantier once again closing the space, leaving a lane. There's room enough as in the front there. Up the inside, Moore pushes through, hits the apex nicely there. Runs a little bit out. And again, Hendrickson run out of room a little bit. But there's Robbins racing in that situation. Last lap, last sets of corners. And Hendrickson actually backs out a little bit there so he doesn't hit the curb. And that was enough. Although I thought he had the run on the inside and you can see him moving forward. But it's actually Moore that gets the drive out of the corner. I almost thought Devantier was going to get a good look in here as well. Devantier then nowhere to go, I don't think, as Hendrickson comes across to take... Oh, he's actually touched. I don't think he was there. And then as they come through the final corner now... Because of that little touch, potentially, Moore hangs on to the drive and hangs on to the win. Spectacular finish there. Like I said, he threw a handkerchief over the top 5. That's a great way to finish. Speaking of finish, let's go checking out our results for round 4 of season 32 of Sunday Night Lights here at Silverstone. Henry Moore, back-to-back wins here. Back-to-back races on Sunday nights here. That's a great run for the young Englishman on his bid to run the full season, see what that gets for him. Tim Hendrickson, regular podium sitter here for Team Torpedo, hangs on for P2. And the Cowboy, after sitting in 4th the whole way through, bided his time and was right in it. He really pushed forward at the end and got another podium. So again, these guys really stamping their authority on the championship as we start to make our way through to the mid stages. Adam Miles on return to the Sunday Night Lights action, finishes in 4th ahead of Fraser Smith, who got shuffled back towards the end there in that final thrust towards the line. Donald Sabinal, the leading Milo driver of the two, in there finishing in 6th ahead of Neil Gardner, who finishes in P7 for Respectful Hornets Racing. Captain 499 gets in a nice 7th position ahead of Nick Armstrong from ANZ, who finishes in 8th. Similarly for Locked On Banter Alliance Racing, Nathan Verney for ANZ has finished in 9th. Good, strong top 10 performance for Verney. Ahead of Vasco Sorosky for Team Clowns, who finishes in 10th. No doubt wanting to be a bit further up in amongst what was a magnificent lot of action up front. Glenn Corrigan for Jim's Mowing Racing finishes in 11th, just ahead of Ken Himes, the stalwart, the lone stalwart in here tonight. for ANZ Racing. He's finished in 12th and inside the Sun and Night Lights points. Greg Adams, the other clown in the field for Team Clowns, he's finished in 13th, ahead of Hideki Ogihara, who had that unfortunate coming together with Armstrong through the old turn 1. And then Luke Witten all the way down in 15th after having several adventures, I think, tonight, unfortunately for Luke. Down 6 laps is our only retirement, Corey.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Luke. Hopefully he can come back and have another crack at it next week. But I was just listening into the driver chat a little bit here post-race. It sounds like there's a little bit of feeling going on between a few of the drivers about that last section of the race coming out of Stowe. A whole lot of room being left talk going on.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'd have to go back and have a look at the different angles. It looked like last lap stuff to me, to be honest. But I'd have to go and have a look in detail. But certainly made for good viewing, that's for sure. But let's go. Let's start with our race winner, Mr. Henry Moore, who's gone back to back. Mate, that front pack looked like a ton of fun there. Hopefully you had a good night out. Well, come away with a win, so that's a good start, right? Oh, he's gone. Hang on. Is he gone, Henry? No? Oh, I can't move him up, Corey. Can you drag him up? No? Is it just me on my Pat Maloney?
It's not letting me.
No. I don't know what's going on there. Well, let's imagine we're talking to Henry, Corey, while I try and figure it out. Hey, Corey / Henry, what do you think of that one? No, I can't get it.
It was a great race out there.
I don't know. He won't move up here. All right. Well, let's see if we can't get someone else up here. Is Henry Moore? There we go. Henry, can you hear me?
I can't.
Wow, I don't know what's going on there, mate. The technical gremlins have gotten us, but apparently it's self-service here. Great race out there, mate. That action in the last little bit there was well worth the wait. A lot of tactics going on and trying stuff out in between, and then she all came down to the last few corners, mate. But great to come away with a win.
Yeah, definitely. I was a bit sweaty through that one.
I can imagine.
I didn't know if Fraser was. I didn't know if Fraser was going to go for it, and then I was trying to stay back off Tim, so I was second to the last lap. But yeah, 2 wins in a row. I'm happy.
Yeah, beautiful. Back to back. I was trying to say before the technical gremlins got us, but mate, that was super exciting stuff. And it's no national layout that we've come to love here in the Formula Fords after last season, but certainly a different kind of racing out here. What was the tactics going into it?
It really depended on where I was going into the last couple of laps, because if I was third, I wanted to. I mean, it's hard to say really, because you don't know what's going to happen throughout the race, but I'm happy with where I was going to the last lap, and that came away with the win. So yeah, looked like it worked. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Fantastic effort out there tonight. Congratulations on back-to-back wins, shaping up for a good season. Do we expect to see you for the full tilt this time?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Maybe a race or two that I can't make, but I'll be going for the whole thing.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, mate. Well, starting off well, certainly, with some great results, including back-to-back wins. Congratulations, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, to Tim. I don't think he's too happy with the last couple corners, but yeah, well done, Tim, for the second. That was a really fun race. Yeah, it was a top battle, mate. Like I was saying before, I haven't seen the right angles to make anything more of it of last lap stuff, mate. So regardless, for now, celebrate the win and congratulations. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Yeah, thanks, guys. There you go, Corey. Again, haven't really looked at it in detail yet, but if anything, Tim not being happy with not winning just shows how competitive he is.
Well, that's right. Tim is a very competitive driver, and normally we don't see him happy unless he finishes on the top step of the podium. He did soften up a little bit during the season, but I reckon he's hardened up again, and he's fierce and he's here to win. And that's the only thing that's on his mind right now, is trying to get the win and do it as safely as possible.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, like I said, competitive is a good thing in my mind, and it just shows how much he wants it. But Now, why don't we grab Mr. Devantia, the cowboy? Oh, no. Cowboy, do you want to come up? Oh, I can't do it. The word is from the chat that Discord's having a bit of a problem. Did you bring him up before, mate? I can't get Sam in. Can you bring him up?
No, I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know. Hang on. Broadcast booth. No, I can't move him. I don't know if Sam can move himself. Anyway, well done, cowboy. He came third.
Oh, here he is.
Hello, Sam. I don't know what's going on with Discord, mate. Did you move you or did
No,
I move you?
No, I don't know. I'm just listening to the Tim Man conversation still in the game, but yeah, let's try this now.
All right, mate. Well done. Looked like you were trying the patient thing, and then I've got to tell you, I thought you almost had the run up the inside there to sneak away with a win.
Honestly, I'm happy with third. Whatever happened in front of me, I'm not going to say. It's not my part, but there's some unhappy people. Well, Tim's unhappy. There's 50-50, but that's all I'm going to say. Honestly, it was good fun to be back here, the full layout this time. Not a big fan. Hold on, let me just mute. No, I got to mute RSN. It was good fun. I prefer National, though. It just feels way too long.
Yeah, mate, I've got to say, the national layout seems to be built for these things. But having said that, the show is still great. The racing still looked pretty hot and heavy. And the culmination, the way it climaxed at the end was brilliant as well. But another podium for your good self, mate. That's good points for the series again. Hopefully a strong tilt at the title this time round. Anyone like to give a shout out to this week, mate?
Just you guys. Obviously, just gonna give quickly myself a shout out. We're running a skip bar at ANZ Soft on Saturday nights at 8:15 Australian Eastern PM, Australian Eastern Daylight Standard Time, which is 10:15 GMT. Everyone's more than welcome to come. So yeah, getting the skippy game back up and running.
Perfect. That's 8:15 PM Australian Standard, which is GMT plus 10 at the moment. Get out there, breathe some fresh air into the skips.
On a Saturday night.
Beautiful, on a Saturday night. Perfect. All right, folks. Well, thanks, Sam. That's great to see you out there having a good time again, mate, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah, Corey, Sam Devantia, another set of Discord gremlins, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And what a great race from Sam there. And both of us saw him go for that dive in the final corner. We thought maybe he was going to do a stroke of magic, but unfortunately only third place. But still some really great points here, and I reckon he's definitely going to be in with a chance of the championship this year.
Yeah, could well be, mate. He's right. He's doing the right things to get there, that's for sure. But only time will tell. Let's see if I can actually drag someone up. There we go. Adam Miles, the first one to work properly in Discord. Welcome back to the Sunday Night Lights action, mate. Top 5 finish there with P4 right in there. First of all, how much time have you spent in the car, mate, and how do you feel about it tonight?
Nice to be back. Not a lot of time. I did a couple of races this week. I've been enjoying the same track in the skip bar a lot, and thought, you know what, I'll see if my pace from Silverstone skippies translates into the Formula Ford here, and it seemed to be all right. Definitely didn't show it in qualifying, as you kindly caught my tyre warming disaster on the out lap, which condemned me to only one lap. So I was about 7/10 up coming into the pit lane, basically on the final lap. So I had to qualify P4 ahead of Donald. P5 ahead of Donald. Just off the back of the front four, which is where I expected to be, and then. Yeah, the race was a similar story. Sort of had the pace to stay, had the pace to poke a nose here or there. Just had to pick up some pieces at the end when they fell my way.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I was saying through the thing that I reckon with a few more runs under your belt, the performances from the Skippy might likely translate. I think a few people have made that transition, but the cars are different enough that if you really want to be at the pointy end, you sort of have to. Or not dedicate yourself so much or specialise, but probably spend the commitment during the week to get right up there at the pointy end. And as you say, do more than poke the nose. So very interesting for comparison. The low-powered open wheelers are so different, and certainly a challenge of each to their own, right?
Yeah, exactly. they are similar cars. There's nuance to both of them, and there's something still about the Formula Ford I can't quite get my head around, which is the sort of, you can have very low speed slidey accidents. I just don't feel like I'm getting the warning that they're about to happen, and I'll shift down a gear, and then the car just kind of enters this glide phase where I'm like, oh, I'm spinning now, and I've lost it. The point to catch it was half a second ago, and I'm just making mistakes like that in the car, which I wouldn't make in the Skippy. So yeah, maybe some more time in the car will iron those out, but maybe it's just an artifact of the way the car drives that I need to get used to.
Yeah, I have to say I did notice a little bit of it was interesting. The second time we went to Hederath last week, I did some laps. The first time we went there in week 13, in particular when the cars came out, the rear of the car just wanted to let go at a couple of key positions in the circuit. And I found the second time we went there, I think it was just a matter of throttle application and more importantly, coming off the throttle. But it's not a coaching lesson. That's just
I could do with it. Keep it coming. Keep it going.
You don't need coaching from me, mate. Anyway, interesting. All right, mate. Great to see you as always. Fantastic to have you back here on a Sunday night. Anyone you'd like to say good day to while you're here?
Just yourselves as always for the broadcast. It's whatever car's being raced, it's fantastic to watch it. I've been watching almost every race you've done last season, this season, so I might make a few more appearances, but and shout out to Henry and Tim and Sam and Fraser. They drove a great race. Yeah,
beautiful. Thanks, Adam. Great to see you as always, mate. Talk again soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Corey, one of the good ones. Adam Miles, a gentleman as always. Of course, a couple of Sunday Night Light wins under his belt in the skips, and does great things for the community still there in organising and standing up for, I have to say, the schedule in some cases. As some of the decisions were a bit curious coming into this season for my racing, but great to see him out there on a Sunday night.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Adam. Alex. Adam does so much work behind the scenes for both the Skippy and the Formula Ford communities that he's an absolute asset for us to have here, and to see him out there performing well as well, especially considering he hasn't really had many laps under the belt in the Formula Ford, is amazing to see. And a P4 in your debut race for SNL is definitely nothing to sneeze at. So he should be coming out of here with a great big grin on his face because of it.
Yeah, hope so. Well done, and great to see him out there. All right, final one in our top five. He's got himself muted. Hopefully he'll come off. There we go. Mr. Fraser Smith. Mate, you were in it up to the eyeballs, cracking on there for try and have a crack at the win, and then, but still managed to hang on for top five. Those closing stages were pretty frantic.
Yeah, I'm not that happy with P5, but to be honest, like when it's that close, it's a bit of a lottery, really. I think P3 was probably the worst place to be, and I was trying my best to get into P2 without letting the leader get away, which is easier said than done, really. I think when Tim fought back and took P2, I should have fought that a bit harder, really. And then I'd have been in a better place. But I think we did well to finish, all of us, really.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The racing was tight, and certainly I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping in those closing stages. But tell me, the livery, the Air Force livery, any stories behind that, mate?
Nah, to be honest, I used the same one all of last season. I don't have a livery for my team for this, so I just sort of pick one, and then I just thought that would do.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite fitting, so take on the Aussies.
Yeah, I was wondering, Ashes and all, a bit of a fighter pilot theme, maybe to get the elbows out, but certainly eye catching nonetheless, mate. Well, congratulations on a great run out there. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the top five there was really clean. It was everyone played fair, and yourselves, you put on the broadcast every week. Gives me a reason to race. So yeah,
beautiful. Thanks, Fraser. Look forward to talking to you again soon, mate.
Cheers. I'll see you next week.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Bye.
There you go, Corey. That was Fraser Smith, the final driver out there in our top five. Did a great job out there and had a bit of fun by the sounds of it.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. And, what better place to use a fighter pilot paint scheme than, an old decommissioned World War II airbase. For those of you who don't know, that's what Silverstone is. The straightaways, Hangar Straight and Wellington Straight, are both old decommissioned runways, but I'm pretty sure they could still be used if the situation really called for it, especially with how smooth the tarmac would be now compared to in the old days. But a great race out there. He was right up in amongst it the entire time. It's unfortunate that he fell down to fifth there in the last lap, but it was just a byproduct of good hard racing between that top five, and he definitely can't hang his head in shame because that was some excellent racing out there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Great to see the front five showing us how it's done once again. But that, folks, might do us for this week. Great racing as always. Fantastic to see such a great show here on a Sunday night. But Corey, do you want to tell the folks at home what we got coming up this week?
Yesterday I actually finished finally the editing on the highlights videos for the Outlaw carts from the season just gone. So if you guys want to check them out, go to the Speedway Memes Media YouTube channel. And then on Wednesday, the new season for the Output Racing League is just about to kick off, and we're going to be kicking things off with a draft, which will be interesting. They're going to be doing a little bit of team things in the Output Racing League for this season, which should make things a little bit more exciting. And then apart from that, it's just back here with you next week, Alex, as we go and tackle Phillip Island.
Yeah, beautiful. Looking forward to the first trip to Phillip Island in these cars. Should be a lot of fun. Very interesting to see how it compares to the previous seasons we've had. But for now, folks, make sure you go check out this and all the other race replays. Sunday Night Lights, 32 seasons over the Top Split YouTube channel. Otherwise, of course, we'll be back here next week on the Top Split TV Twitch channel. Same bat time, same bat channel each and every week, of course. And then finally, make sure you join us in the Discord server, the Top Split community there around Sunday Night Lights. Anything and everything SNL will be in there. But otherwise, folks, thank you as always for joining us both on track and in the audience. It is very much appreciated. Make sure that all those places hit like, thumbs up, subscribe, and all the rest of it. Get the good word of the Sunday Night Lights action out there in amongst the community. The bigger it is, the better it gets. All right, folks, for now, and on behalf of the chaotic one, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I'm Alex McKellar, thanking you as always and saying ciao for now.